Welcome to the Broken Port podcast this week. What a big week in tech. We've got iPhone 16 coming out, iPhone 16 Pro, a bunch of other stuff. In addition to that, we've got PlayStation all over the news, PS5 Pro, PlayStation controllers cost more, plus Astroboiiii is getting the top of everybody's list. Fantastic, I suppose. And AMD apparently happy living in the middle. They're like, yeah, NVIDIA, you do that. We'll be over here. We good. We're good. Anyway, welcome to the Broken Port podcast. My name is Mitch. I'm the guy that pretends to know what he's talking about.
And I'm Josh, and I'm very sorry about that.
Aren't we all? Anyway, welcome to this week's episode. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah. Yo, Mitch. What a week.
Crazy week.
I couldn't take a nap.
I know. I was trying to work.
I get cranky if I don't have a nap.
Getting cranky. You haven't had your juice.
Yeah, man. Like all week at work is like, oh, conference this. Oh, announcement that. Oh, this is that. I'm like, okay, well, you go ahead and do that, and the world will explode, and I'll have to talk about it. So we don't have time for your tech life. Because we have to talk about everyone's tech life.
We don't have time for my life. We don't have time for my shirt, but it's here anyway.
It's a damn good looking shirt, I will say.
We'll see if I still like it by the end of this video. But anyway.
I think my friend has that one too. Anyway,
Apple,
yeah.
Good, bad, expensive?
Intelligent?
I feel like expensive is going to be a theme here.
Yeah. These companies are after your wallet.
A lot o'clock. Yes.
All right, so Apple had their new iPhone reveal, and I'm just going to quickly break it down for you, and then maybe we can get your reaction to whether this is a upgrade, a mid-grade, or just kind of a punt.
Let's go.
Non-pros, iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, they have Apple Intelligence, of course, and that's the same with the Apple 15 Pro Max. They have Apple Intelligence. They have the camera control button. They have a 48 megapixel. They have
Watch out for those mixels. They'll get you.
They have a 48 megapixel fusion camera, a 2x telephoto camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, telephoto styles, spatial photo and video for your Apple Vision that only 7 people have. They have audio mix, whatever that is, the A18 chip, so like it's getting mature in here. This is for mature audiences only. And they have the action button, a ceramic shield, and a boost in battery life. The pros, they have, of course, all of that. The Apple Intelligence, camera control, photographic styles, spatial audio, and video. They have audio mix, action button, ceramic shield. And then they have the A18 Pro chip. So this is where they're kind of doing the binning. They're doing what NVIDIA's doing. They're doing what AMD's doing. They're binning their chips. We'll get into that. They have the 48 megapixel fusion camera, 4K, 120 FPS Dolby Vision. They have 5x telephoto camera, 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, studio quality mics, could be good for somebody running a YouTube channel maybe. And they have the best iPhone battery yet. Mitchell, are these incremental improvements or just a refinement on the existing design? And I'm gonna stop talking because my mouth is tired.
So real quick, it always bothers me or makes me just like, come on. Whenever they make these statements like, the best iPhone yet, the best battery yet, well, obviously. What, is it gonna, they gonna take a step back?
The
You're gonna release the same one?
iPhone ever.
Like, welcome to the worst iPhone ever. We took the battery out altogether. You gotta stay plugged into the wall.
Your
Mobile?
life is now?
How about not? Like,
Your life
Come
is now
on.
a living hell.
This is not a point. This is just what it is. It's the new one. Obviously, it's better.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then that's a whole other thing. Why are people getting paid for work? Anyways, so standard thing, okay, this is the 16. It looks the same as my 13, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay? This is okay.
Now,
3, it's 4 phones away, really. Have my 13, and the 14, and the 15, now the 16. That's 4 phones that all have like the same kind of camera layout and whatever. Everything's improved, but this is the same reason why I ended up buying a Note back when they released like the iPhone 8. Because it was like, you just did like 3-4 generations and it's the exact same phone. I'm not excited about it. Sure, it's better and everything works better, but it doesn't seem like a new phone.
Okay, so you're on the iPhone 13 right now, Pro?
Yeah, 13 Pro.
Yeah, okay. So, what I think this is, and I'll let you continue on with your thing, but you said something that caught my interest. What I think this 16 is the final kind of refinement, the final pass on this design. If you think this looks like your old phone that might be a 14, I'm rocking a 14, you're rocking a 13, even the 12s look like that. I got an old 12 around here somewhere that looks like that. If that's not good enough for you, then just skip this generation, because next year, guess what? They're going to recycle. They'll probably go smooth and round and thin again. Apple is no longer innovating. They're just recycle, refine, recycle, refine, recycle, refine, hoping that you forget it because it's the new iPhone. I gotta get it. It's got the new chip.
Here's the thing for me though, like, see, I need a new phone. I can't wait another generation. I can't wait another year with this. My battery's gonna last like 6 minutes. So I can't. I have to buy a new phone now. And like, Steve Jobs would have never stood for this nonsense. If he like came back to life tomorrow, he would look at what's going on and lose his mind.
Yeah.
Because he was all about new and innovative, right? And what a shame that we don't have that innovative influence. It would have honestly the world of tech would have been totally different. We wouldn't have had even this like PS5 Pro the way that it is, because standards would have been higher. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But you know what? Look, I like some of the software things, okay, that they revealed. Some of the Apple Intelligence stuff looks cool. Some of the camera stuff is cool. Like you can change like the color and the filter and everything like before you even take the photo, which is kind of cool. They added a lot of neat stuff like that.
I will say with the camera thing, watching the promotional material, it looks clunky. That little button, and then you're scrolling, and like, is it so hard to just zoop, boop, zoop, click, click? Like, I think it's and maybe just take some getting used to.
I'm glad
it's an overthought feature.
No, I'm glad that there's more practical buttons, because you know what? Not everything works on a touchscreen.
I like the action button for sure.
Like the action button is good, and no, I think that this little scroll wheel thing or whatever it is, as long as it's not like clunky and full of problems, I think it's good, because not everything works on a touchscreen. Touchscreens are great and very practical for a lot of stuff, but you still need like when you're trying to take a picture, you think imagine with like a regular camera, you hold it like this and the button is here. Imagine if you were trying to take a picture with an actual camera and now you gotta that's terrible. You're gonna lose your angle, you're gonna lose your you're gonna lose everything, right?
Yeah.
And you can take a picture right now with the volume button on the phone.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But again, for when you're trying to adjust like little settings, that's much more practical because you can stay in frame and you can watch it, right? So
I guess they're trying to
really
nail down like the DSLR. Oh, it's a little blurry. Let me kind of turn this. I don't know. I'm not a photographer, but you get the drift. They're going after that tactile kind of adjustment.
Yeah, I think it's actually a pretty practical and honestly, it's one of the most innovative things they've done with the design in a while.
Yeah.
They added like an external control, so that's good.
I have to keep us on time though.
I think what's that?
I have to keep us on time though. There's a lot of features we got to run through. Action button, go.
That's okay. Okay, so the action button, customizable. Look, I'm upset to a level that they took away the switch, because now I got to worry about that. See, that switch is, I use that every day, because whether it's like, I don't really use my ringer all that much, but if I'm using like Instagram or something, that's how I turn the sound on and off. Because it's even more of a pain now with Instagram, especially if there's a reel or something, to like, you got to like pause it and then press sound and whatever. It's like, I don't have time for that. We don't have time for any.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That switch. So now I got to use this button, and it's the same, but I feel like it's a lot easier to accidentally press that button than it is to flick that switch.
Yeah, there could be problems with these new features too, right? It's not all good. What do you think of the spectral photo and video for enjoying memories on your, what was it, $3,500 headset? Something like that?
Yeah, so for the that stuff for the Vision Pro, I don't have a Vision Pro.
I'm never gonna have a Vision Pro.
So I don't know if they make like a Vision Pro SE for like $500. I'm probably not gonna buy it. But maybe I'll know somebody who does, and I'll try it out. But like, if our channel gets to the right level where we can actually review things legit, then I'll get one. Yeah, and we'll review it on the channel.
Yeah.
But until then, that's going to be about it for that situation. What's the next feature?
Okay, well, new chips. Now, you can get into the nitty-gritty. I don't think that's who we are. But what I want to talk about with these new chips is binning them. Because they're exact same chip. It's just the silicone lottery that we're dealing with, and they've binned them kind of thing. So you might get a normal phone that's almost pro level processing power, but it didn't make the cut. Or you can get a normal phone that was just barely passable. So like, I feel like these chips are gonna have a little bit of frequency, you know, like a little bit of lottery to it.
So a couple of things with kind of the more of the CPU silicon side of things. It seems they skipped the A17. They just went 16 to 18 because numbers make sense. And and you know, their percentages that they use or whatever, and I don't know, just don't overcomplicate it. It's trying to complicate some things because they're not actually doing anything innovative. So it's like, oh, it's all technical that you wouldn't understand.
We've tried everything and we're all out of ideas.
We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
There's they skipped that. I think they said, did they say it's 30% better or something? But I don't know. At the end of the day, they didn't mention the RAM of the phone even. And it has the Pro, I think the 18 Pro has 6 cores, which is the same as like a Ryzen 5 CPU.
What I did learn is I think it's 8 gigs. The RAM.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And Riley off of Tech-Spline was kind of like, they didn't have it on any sheets. We had to dig for this information.
Yeah.
Why when you're jumping double the amount of RAM, why aren't you talking about it?
Because they got an action button.
And a slider ceramic shield.
Ooh, slidey.
So anyway, yeah. So
the ceramic shield, I actually didn't even notice this until you brought it up. So
cooling.
I mean, look, I'm still gonna. So the ceramic shield, this is internal, or this is on the outside?
This is a shield that's, I think, internal. I don't know, but what it does is it because when you're doing 4K 120 FPS, cameras are known for one thing. They're known for getting hot after like 20 minutes. This apparently spreads it out. It's like a heat shield.
Okay.
So it's to do that. But what's funny is, this is 4K footage, but it doesn't come with a terabyte or 2 terabyte drive. So you need an external SSD.
Starts at 128 still. Now, but quickly on the topic of the ceramic. So if anybody knows a bit more about that, see, when I think of ceramic shield, or I think ceramic coating now, that's like a protective thing on the outside. But if you know anything about that, comment down below. While you're at it, like and subscribe, because that's also pretty hot. So going back into the cameras though, yeah, 128 gigs.
That's like 10 minutes of footage.
What's the point of that?
At 4K.
With these other features.
Like, if you're a creator, now you have to buy a rig and you have to buy a hard drive. Yeah, I don't particularly need 4K 120 FPS. 4K 60 for the odd like 30-second clip. That'd be cool.
The 128 gig Pro is for the person that buys the Pro just because they want to say they have the Pro, but they just text and use Instagram.
Yeah. It's
that's
like
who will buy
keeping up
that
with
phone.
the Joneses.
Yeah, because you can't even look. I download all my music because I don't want to have to be streaming all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can't even download your music with that, honestly.
No.
Like, come on. All your photos got to go up to the cloud. What's the point of that?
So
come on, just at least start with a 256. Like I have.
Yeah.
I have a 512 phone right now, and it's a little over half full. So I'm not going to go smaller because then I'm going to be dealing with like full storage all the time.
You have to delete.
I don't want to have to
delete videos.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go in, delete, and I can't take a video because no. I want to have the headroom. Because even if I'm only going to use 300 ever, that's the space I need. Because if I have a 256, I'm going to be stressed out all the time and uncomfortable. So I need space.
128 is guy that lives on the cloud.
Yeah.
That's who that is.
Lives on the cloud, always streaming, and that's it.
All right, so there's more to the camera than the capturing ability. They have a 5x, and we could talk about the non-pro, but we're both getting the pro, so we're gonna highlight the pros right now. I saw in the promotional material that they put this like cover over this log, and they clicked, and they like zoomed in on like this ant or ladybug. I forget what it was, and you could see the pores. Now that's best possible conditions.
Yeah.
And a lot of these features, these are the best possible conditions. Apple has cherry-picked this data to present to you, to sell it to you. And this is a common thing. But I think these cameras forget on what frame rate and what resolution. I think the cameras are going to be kind of cool.
It looks really good. And iPhone has really come a long way with the cameras because that used to be one of their downfalls, right? Android phones used to have a better camera.
This is an 8. Look at that camera. It's not even half what big the, like, this is a non-pro. This is, yeah. They've come a long way.
They've come a really long way. See, you could get a good picture always with an iPhone, but you had to have very like ideal conditions. You know, you had to have the right lighting, maybe like outside in the middle of the day or whatever, but like you couldn't take a photo at night. No way. Like inside, if it was kind of dark, whatever, like it was hard to get a good photo with an iPhone in the past, like the 8 and before, because you needed specific conditions, where Android at the time already had upped their camera game. Because I remember, because my friends with Androids were always like on me for that. Oh, well, you know, your stupid iPhone, and I can't take a picture. But they've really come a long way with the cameras. It's good to see that, right? I think it's also cool. Again, I don't think I'll make use of this with the studio quality mics, and I honestly don't know anybody that really will. But it's a cool thing. They showed that scene they filmed with the guys in the diner there. And that was pretty cool. And I mean, if you're making short films for like little things, maybe for school or for whatever, hey, that'll save you a lot of money, and you can do everything with your phone. And I think that's cool. So that is one of the closest things to being innovative, I think, that they've done with this.
Yeah.
So I'll give them props for that feature.
And finally, the last feature that we'll talk about the features of this phone is the best iPhone life ever. Now, to accomplish this, yeah, there's a slightly size of the size of the battery got bigger, but they were able to do this because they shrunk the bezels and they increased the size like an inch or two, or like a 0.1 inch or two, you know? So what do you think of the best iPhone life ever? I don't care about the capacity. I care about the health over time.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as it lasts. I mean, look, I anticipate I'm going to have to buy an iPhone every 2 years.
Yeah.
This one that I have, this is the 3rd year, and like overall it still works okay, but if I'm not near like a charging space all day, then it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah, for sure.
So that seems to be the way that it goes. If they can push that, if I'm not even concerned, the battery when you get an iPhone, it's going to last all day. And it's done that for a long time. For, I would say, at least the past like 4 generations or so. No, I had the 11 and it lasted all day when I first got it. Almost lasted 2 days, I think. But it's more of the battery over time.
Yes.
It's like, okay, in 2 years, how's it going to be?
Yeah.
That's more my concern, right? So we'll see. I don't expect this to last any longer. I expect it to last shorter, to be honest, because they want you to buy the new phones, right? So
yeah, this forced obsolescence, I can't get on board with it. It should be a crime. That's what the EU should be after.
Yeah, I think, see, the biggest thing is with the whole right to repair thing, it should be easy to replace your phone battery. It's so integrated now, and I think Austin did a video on it. Like you can replace it yourself from Apple, but they send you all these machines, and it's like this whole big, there's like melting and all kinds of stuff going on. It's like, no, just let me just pop out the battery. Why does it have to be like hours of work and big machines and breaking stuff? No,
honestly, it should be as easy as stick in this SIM tool there, and there, pop the back, take it out, put it in.
Yeah,
click.
You should be able to unclip the back, or even if you have to unscrew it, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Pop out the battery, pop in the new one.
Now they might be worried about waterproofing and whatnot.
$40.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 Canadian. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get into a little bit of that.
Speaking of
Canadian and American pricing in a minute.
Okay, not just yet, because there's one more feature I forgot, and I want to frame this in a certain way. So stay on board. Apple Intelligence. Okay. What is the reasoning for marketing a delayed, limited feature to just the US?
Because they need a September release.
Go on, cook.
That's it. They didn't do their work quick enough, but they have to have the showcase now. That's it. Get it done.
Deadlines.
Yep. Other than that, unacceptable. Don't release a phone that's not finished. Don't release a game that's not finished. Everything is released now because, we can just update it later.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of what was the big selling feature with Teslas? FSD, full self-driving. Still not a regular thing. You have to be approved. You're in this program. But yet they marketed these cars almost exclusively on, it's electric, but it also can drive you to work by itself. In time,
Josh always finds a way to get Elon into the episode, eh?
I didn't say his name. I said a company, and that might not be his fault. Maybe he fought that, but these companies seem to have these little feature sets being like, here's what's around the corner. Don't put it around the corner. Put it on my plate now. I'm buying the meal now. I don't want to come back next Tuesday and finish my meal. Be all cold and gross.
Saying, look at all these features. Oh, but we'll add these on eventually, but just buy the phone.
Yeah,
And people are just looking to buy
gatekeep
it. I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And not even because I'm dying to get it, it's because I need a phone, because they don't make these phones to last anymore. It's,
Chill.
I got no more words for that. It's just that's it.
So what are these phones coming in at? Does it say in the article?
A lot of cluck. It's gonna be the theme of this week because everything is expensive. Does it say? So the 16 starts at $799 US for the 128 gig. The 16 Plus starts at $899. And I think the Pro, does the Pro start at $1,000 US? I think it does.
Wow. That's $1,250.
Yeah, the Pro starts at $999 US and the Pro Max starts at $1,119 US.
Wow. That's, if you're Australian, which some of our viewers are, I've saw the analytics. If you're Australian or Canadian, that's rough.
Yeah.
The conversion, the exchange rate is not kind.
Yeah, so I gotta get a 512. So Canadian, I'm gonna be looking after tax around $2,000, or just over that.
I'm not doing that. I'll just suffer. I'll live in the cloud.
You gotta get a new one sometime, and they're gonna be the same price.
Dude,
Probably more. They'll probably raise it $100 every year for the new one.
I have to midday charge my phone.
Yeah.
It's a 14, by the way.
Josh is ready to live that midlife, just like AMD, but
we'll get
we're
that
not gonna
later.
get into them yet. But for now, PlayStation. All about the PlayStation this week after Apple. We got into Apple a lot, but PS5 Pro. It's an upgrade, kind of.
All right, let's break this down, Mitch. So
So Josh has the specs. I'm gonna let Josh get into the specs.
They have PSSR, that's PlayStation Spectral. There's that word again. Spectral Super Resolution, which is basically just FSR or DSSR or whatever. It's an AI upscaling. They have 67% more compute units. Cool. Number go up. They have 28% more RAM. They have 45% faster rendering. Ray tracing performance is up to 3 times faster. Up to. There's that word. They have Wi-Fi 7. Variable for refresh rate. Some 8K capabilities, which in time, here's another feature down the road, will get better apparently. They have an enhanced game back catalog. And here's the newest feature of it all. No disk drive. Mitch.
And
what is this?
And in addition, okay, I have to look more, but everybody's saying it has a 2 terabyte SSD or 2 terabyte hard drive or whatever. They didn't mention that.
Nope.
In the presentation
about that.
I haven't seen it. Like, I've seen it on other articles, but I haven't seen it for PlayStation. Maybe it's in the blog post and I gotta find it or something, but they don't really have info about the Pro on the PlayStation website.
But the CPU and the speed of the SSD have not changed.
Yeah.
It's
So
not like Gen 5 or whatever, you know?
And at the end of the day, look, it's a mid-gen refresh. It's not a new console. It doesn't have to be like double or whatever. But
that's besides the point. That's besides the point.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Okay, there's inflation. Everything costs more. Da 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 da. But many things happening right now. Okay. There's no competition. There's no competition for the PS5 Pro. Xbox is not doing a mid-gen refresh. They're releasing a 2 terabyte model of the Series X, which that's fine. At the end of the day, I don't see the justification in any mid-gen refresh because according to the specs, they should be running things way better and things haven't taken advantage of what's already there. So the PS5 Pro essentially is supposed to be running at approximately what they said the regular PS5 was going to be running at. However, now because they originally had 8K on the PS5 box.
Yeah.
My PS5 box said 8K. They don't say 8K anymore. Who has an 8K TV? Very few people, and that's not, going to be killer. But at the end of the day, if you can't get 60 frames per second with 4K, you're not running 8K.
No.
You're not. If the best you can do is 4K 30 FPS, no, it's not going to happen. So big disappointment there with the overall generation, Xbox and PlayStation on that front.
So
now,
my
and there's no new Nintendo yet. They're saying, they've been rumoring that for a long time. They're saying probably this month they're going to release the new successor to the Switch, but I'm not even going to get into that because until that actually happens, that's a whole lot of talking that's not needed. But all these numbers, the big three, they're not that big for one. Okay, they added DLSS, but the PlayStation version, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which, okay, good.
Who does
Add
these
more
GPUs,
FPS.
Mitch?
What's that?
Who does these GPUs?
AMD,
What's AMD's upscaling tech?
FSR.
They just placed the F with a P. They just closed the loop.
They put a P, they added an S, and here we go. Yay! Now listen, I was
Super.
originally, so they've been talking about this for a while. I was fully planning to get the PS5 Pro. Okay, I had the PS5, and I was like, I'm going to trade my PS5 in and get the Pro when it comes out. This last generation, I did not get the PS4 Pro. Okay, but at that time, I wasn't playing as much games or whatever, and I didn't really care as much to spend the money on it. And even just like work to trade mine in and da-da-da-da, that's fine. My PS4 worked fine for the whole generation. But the PS5 Pro now, okay, $700 US. It's essentially $950 Canadian. So we're looking at like $1,000 console in Canada, okay?
Yeah. So
I can get. I have other things that I'm trying to build a new PC, and I also don't have a handheld yet. So for
got a
$1,000
baby to
Canadian,
feed.
for $1,000 Canadian or $700 US, I can get whatever handheld I want.
Mhm.
I can get the Ally X, I can get the Steam Deck, or for less than that, I can get, I think, the MSI Claw or the Legion Go.
Yeah. So my point was kind of similar to this, and I will interrupt you for that, is this. When the PS4 Pro came out, they sold it for the same price as the PS4, and the PS4 went down $100.
Yeah.
They've already set this precedent. Now, the pandemic happened, scalpers, $750, $1,000, $1,200 for a PS5. Meanwhile, Fatty Mick Rich Pants in his Sony office is like, I have an idea. They're willing to do that. It's greed, man. These are incremental improvements because it's a mid-series refresh. It's not next gen.
But see, this is greed that is not going to work because, for one, in many places they've increased the price of the PS5. The regular PS5 has gone up since release. That's never happened with a console ever before. It's never gone up in price after it's been released.
This whole technology is now worth more.
Like a mid-gen refresh has cost more,
Of course.
but not the original one.
No, it's always
Hey, you know
a
what?
price cut.
Those are selling pretty good. Let's turn that up a little bit. No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, and nobody wants that, and nobody is going to pay that in the long run.
But Mitch,
Now-
there are some people that will. The people with the 120 hertz TVs, the people that will buy it, they're like, that's great. Hey, you don't want to buy my Pro? That's fine. I have a PS5 that you will buy.
But here's the thing, okay? So, yes, PS5, PlayStation here, some people will buy this. But at the same time, look at the PSVR 2. That costs more than the PS5. An accessory to the PS5 costs more than the PS5. Give me a break, okay? I bought the original PSVR for the PS4. I bought it when it went on sale. They did, because that wasn't selling. So they did this whole tour at the malls, and you got to try it, and you got this voucher, and I forget how much I got it for, but it was, you know, it was a good deal. So I got it then. But now they released PSVR 2, which is, I think, a pretty like decent accessory. The headset and the controller is much better than the previous generation, and people that have used it liked it, but because of the price and haven't released any games, basically just gave up on it. Nobody's buying it. So the PlayStation 5 Pro, on the topic of no games, they released no new games with this situation.
Yeah,
there was no, it was like, oh yeah, play Spider-Man 2 from, what was it, last year or 2 years ago that came out, or these other old games, because PlayStation hasn't released any original content in so long. Who's gonna be like, oh wow, I can't wait to play that new game? No, there's no new game to play on it.
Yeah,
are they gonna play Concord?
Okay, that joke only works one more time, okay?
All aboard.
Listen, I gave up after the PS4. I told everybody with Game Pass on the computer and the console, it was just easier just to keep it all in house. So I abandoned. I have a pretty decent PS4 library.
Is this the first PlayStation you haven't owned?
Well, the 3. Yeah, I had the 2, the 3, and the 4. Yeah.
I've had every PlayStation, but I never thought that I wouldn't see Josh with a PlayStation, because he was all PlayStation.
Yeah.
You had the 360, no?
No. I had the original Xbox, and then I had a buddy down the road that had a 360, so I was playing it. But then I jumped to the 3. Yeah. When I got married, I got a 3 with some wedding money, and man, I played the crap out of Drake.
Didn't you have two PS3s?
Uncharted?
Didn't you? You and
Yeah,
the wifey
at one point I did. Yeah, I had one for my wife and I had one for me.
Rolling.
I think I even brought one to your place one day. Or did I bring 2? Did I bring them both? Anyway, that's a story. That was your bachelor party.
Josh had 2 PS3s, so there was no need for a PlayStation 5. Basically had a PS6 already.
Yeah, exactly. So I defer to you on this, but what is this? Is this something that I should go and buy?
I mean, I'm gonna see if they release games that are actually worth playing on the PS5 Pro. I might consider trading my PS5 in or selling it and paying the difference. But I'm not very tempted right now, because even like, okay, it has Wi-Fi 7. That's really good if you're not running it wired, which I am. So the Wi-Fi 7 doesn't matter for me personally. But you also have to have a router that is going to provide Wi-Fi 7 connectivity.
Yeah.
If your router is providing 6E or less, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi 7 is not going to make a difference for you if you don't have a Wi-Fi 7 router.
Especially too, what if you don't have a 120 hertz TV?
Yeah, so you have to make use of a lot of the features here. You need to have a brand new router that has the most recent Wi-Fi capabilities, and you have to have a TV that has 4K 120 hertz.
Unless you're switching internet providers, or you've optimized 6E very badly, or you've got some wicked thick walls, no one's really like, you know what? Let's go down and get a 7 Wi-Fi router. Let's go get a modem. Like no one's doing that unless you're in the position to do that. So I don't know. I don't think this is for the consumer, the regular consumer.
No, it's definitely not. Even so, for example, the guy that I work with, just kind of hand in hand with right now, day to day, he has a PS5. Okay, he's a gamer. He likes to play a mix of different things, and so while we were while we were driving, you know, we listened a little bit to the reveal, and I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna get this or not. And for him, he was like, man, there's no way that I'm getting that. He's like, I'm not spending that. I don't need it. And sees there's no real benefit for him. He's not gonna do that. And this guy that I work with, great guy, and he's a console gamer. Okay, he doesn't have a PC. He's thinking about getting one, but he's not. He told me he got the SSD for his PS5, and he was nervous about putting that in. That he's like, that was the first time I had done something like that, and I was nervous I was going to break something, because this is the main people that buy consoles. You know, him and many other friends that I have, or people I know, like, they buy a console because they want to play video games, but they're not a techie. You don't have to be a tech genius to play video games. It's like, I have a PlayStation and I play games. You don't need to know how to build stuff or fix stuff or do this or edit or whatever. So the Pro is not gonna apply to your average player whatsoever.
Yeah. But Mitchell, it has 67 more compute units.
Well,
what's that do?
Compute 67 times more. I will wait until I actually see, because there's no disk drive.
Yeah.
And see, that's another thing for me. So
I'm going to give everyone a little pushback that's whining about this, and maybe you feel a little different, so you can let me know how you feel. But guys, we're living in the future. Like, physical media, we've talked about it. Physical media is going away. You stream all your shows. You can even stream games now. That's taken some time to get there, but I'm having okay success with it. If you're on a computer and you got a Steam library, you're not burning CDs to back up your library. No, it's all digital. Life now is all digital. And I think it's a little old man yells at a cloud if we start losing our crap, if consoles start not having a disc drive. That's my take.
Yeah, so I don't think I've bought any physical games for the PS5. And I don't really care. I'm probably not going to buy any physical ones. To me, it's an irritation, because even like for me, my PlayStation is in the basement, but it's connected to my TV upstairs. So I don't want to like walk through my whole house, put the game in and change and do all that, and it doesn't even. Don't get me started on that. But the main thing that I use the disk drive for is emergency situations. So if my internet is out or the power goes out and I can run my stuff on a generator, then I can watch movies and shows with the disk drive.
That's true.
That's what I use it for. And overall, for gaming, it doesn't really matter for me, because again, if I'm going to play something that's like old, it's I mean, for me, I don't really have time to play like a ton of stuff anyway. Okay?
Yeah, we have lives.
Yeah. So I don't have time to play the new stuff. Never mind the old stuff and this and that and whatever. I have things to do. But the disk drive, since it's the Pro should have everything. That's the thing. Even if physical media is on the way out, the Pro should have everything you could possibly get. You shouldn't have to upgrade the Pro. That's the problem that I have with it.
Yeah. Like, are they going to be able to attach a? Because I know with the new digitals, you can attach the disk drive. Are you going to be able?
You can use the same one. So if you bought a Slim,
See, that's
and then
ticky-tacky, though.
you added the disk drive, which monetarily makes no sense. If you wanted the disk drive, you should just bought the one with the disk drive already. But I think you can remove it from the one you bought. So if you bought the Slim with the disk drive, I think you can take that one off and put it on the Pro.
Now you're in the money. That's ticky-tacky,
But for me, again, there's the average consumer, right? They're just going to have the regular one. Then there's the people that want the Pro. Somebody like me who would sell or trade in his regular PS5 to get this. Then there's another even smaller market of people that will buy the Pro in addition to the Slim that they have that they didn't get the original for, and then they're gonna move their disk drive over to that one. That's like Jimmy Champagne, and that's it.
Yeah.
From PS Ready. Yeah. Jimmy's all in on PlayStation all the time, and that's great. And I know he's gonna get the PS5 Pro, but maybe Jimmy and like 6 other guys that are gonna do that. You know?
Yeah. It's like there's these rich people too that have these like dens, and they have every generation. They have like Xbox 360. It had like 17 different types.
Yeah,
and there's these people that have that. So this is for the collectors. This is for the people that want to keep up with the Joneses, that have the means. But like, what'd you say? $1,000 this is going to be? Canadian?
In Canada, if they go straight exchange rate, it'll be about $950 Canadian. And
what's that gonna scalp to? 1,700.
So who knows? It might be $950, maybe it'll be $1,000. I don't know, but it's gonna be between $900 and $1,000 Canadian, and it's running $699 American. And I think the disk drive, if you want it, I think is $80 American. So in Canada, looking around $1,100, give or take, plus tax and so on.
So speaking of PlayStation being greedy, what's up with these controllers?
They added $5 American to their controller prices. Just quietly, they're just like, we'll take some more money.
Okay.
Again with the price increases. When has this ever happened in a console generation?
I went up to my boss yesterday and I was like, I'm adding $5 to my hourly wage. Because I like money too.
Like,
that's not how it works.
They upgraded No, that's the wrong word. They increased the console price of the PS5. They increased the controller price, and now the PS5 Pro is super expensive. Everything is so expensive.
Yeah, don't get me started. Do these controllers go on sale as often as Xbox controllers do?
No, they will go on sale, but Xbox is like every other month, honestly. Yeah. Like, I find a deal. Xbox controllers, I forget what the US conversion would be, if it would be $40 maybe, but it's like $60 Canadian.
If
that they go on sale every 2 months, maybe every 3 months.
If someone's looking to get into a hobby and they're like, oh, gaming, you game? What should I do? I'm bringing them to Xbox. I'm like, you know what? You want to dip your toes in water? Get a Series S? See how you like it.
But the Series S is holding back gaming. Don't you know that?
Whoa. What? Who cares?
You can't even play any games on it.
It does just fine. It's right there. There. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, so they're being greedy. Who's not being greedy?
AMD. AMD is not being greedy. They're sitting exactly where they want to sit.
They know their comfort zone. So tell me about this.
Okay, so AMD has decided they don't want to compete with NVIDIA. No. The 4090 and maybe the 5090, whatever, nah, they're not going to go there. Because why would we compete with the best when we could be the medium and sell a lot that way? This is basically AMD's statement on the situation. Okay, here. So from this, so this is from PC Gamer. Okay. This article is by Andy Edser.
Yeah, all the articles will be in the description.
So the article here, title, is a quote. It says, I don't want AMD to be the company that only people who can afford Porsches and Ferraris can buy.
Moving on.
AMD's Jack, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce this, Hyun, says being king of the hill isn't the priority for its next-gen GPUs. End quote, end title.
Hyun.
Okay, so
Jack Hyun.
real quick, I have an NVIDIA GPU
So do I.
and a Chevy,
Ooh.
but it's a truck, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't have a Porsche.
Yeah.
Or a Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someday. I wouldn't say no. But
I have an NVIDIA and a Mazda.
and I don't have an AMD GPU.
Yeah.
Now,
You see, this is where I can see them going with this, okay? I can see them really trying to overspec the mid-range cards. What makes a mid-range card a mid-range card, Mitchell? A mid-range price. So if they can kill them in performance and kill them to actual dollars, then yeah, maybe they will get my business next time. But what they have to do, by all means, is come up with some more features that you make up, not like piggybacking off of NVIDIA's ray tracing and whatnot, or copying their DLSS and making FSR. Like, come out with some original stuff that really divides you from your competition.
yeah, see, the thing that they have to do here is they can't just not compete with the 4090. They have to crush it in competing with like the 4070, 4070 Ti. By the sounds of it, they don't even want to compete with the 4080.
Yeah.
So if they want to compete, okay, with the 4070, for example, 4070 is about like maybe $800 Canadian. Okay.
It has 12 gigs of VRAM.
Yeah. So let's say that's the top card that they want to compete with. Okay. For one, it has to be, no question, equally as good, essentially a little bit better than that card. Okay. They have to beat the 4070. If they don't want to go up to the 4090 or even the 4080, the 470 Ti, okay, they have to be better basically without question than the 4070 card. Okay, there's always going to be people that are just diehard of a certain brand that are like, no, if it's not NVIDIA, I don't want it,
for sure.
and that's fine. But in the specs, in the testing and everything, they got to smoke the 4070 at least by 10% consistently. Okay, it doesn't have to be a whole other level, but it can't be like, oh yeah, in like 10 or even, let's say, even 30% of games it's better. No, that's not good enough. That's not gonna get the market share, because they're saying here, so another quote here, it says, so my number one priority right now is to build scale and to get us to 40 to 50% of the market faster. Do I want to go after the 10% or 80%? I'm kind of an 80% guy. There's more to it, but I'll end the quote there. But if you want that share, if you want that 50% of the 80%, you have to smoke that 4070. And on top of that, you have to sell it for cheaper than the 4070. Even if it's beating the 4070 by 10%, people are still going to buy the NVIDIA if it's the same price or the NVIDIA is cheaper. So they have to be better and cheaper to compete in this market if that's the top thing that they're going to do. And I don't know.
They have two things to worry about, Mitchell. They have to worry about being better, being cheaper, being more available to gamers than NVIDIA. And they also have to watch out for Mr. Battle Mage coming on their coattails. Because I can tell you, Intel's first outing wasn't good. Price was right, but it wasn't good. But slowly, after driver, it got better and better and better. And people are saying, like, these guys might be the budget kings. So they have to smoke both of these companies.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting thing once that actually comes around. When the Battle Mage Intel series is released, for anybody that doesn't know, Intel is labeling their GPUs basically, it seems alphabetically. So Intel Arc was their first series of GPUs. Now the next one is starting with a B, so it's the Intel Battle Mage. So this will be their second series of GPUs. Instead of using numbers like everybody else does, they're doing this, which, hey,
Makes
I like
sense.
that. It's good. It stands out as something different, right?
Works for hurricanes.
Yeah. Let's go, Barbara. So, so now AMD is not just going to be competing with NVIDIA. If Intel is able to keep their price at a good budget, at a low budget, and their battle mages compete with the AMD cards, AMD's got to try a lot harder, because NVIDIA can easily do these lower GPUs, okay? But AMD can grind and get some of that market share. But if Intel comes in, AMD's already competing with Intel in the CPU market constantly, and Intel knows that basically for the lower end or budget, they're competing with AMD. There's already like really shaky waters for the CPU market. You know, Intel is going to try to make that up in the GPUs, right? So it's going to be interesting to see like AMD kind of taking their foot off the gas, in my opinion. If you don't think so, let us know in the comments, and while you're down there leaving a comment, like, subscribe, share, hit that little notification bell as well.
Yeah, let us know if they lose focus on the high end and the low end cards.
Yeah.
Maybe they only do 3 GPUs and they're relatively close together. Who knows? But speaking of subs, we are almost at 400, and that's amazing. And we'd like to shout out every one of you. Thank you. It doesn't seem like a lot, but every day it makes us a little happier when that number go up. It's weird. We're vain like that.
We're on the road to 500 right now.
Yeah.
Our dreams are currently small because some people can get that in a day, but man, I'm excited to see that 500.
Yeah. And it kind of motivates me to up the quality a little. Every single video, I put a lot of work into the research, and I think that's paying off. And we got some really great comments. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll have a comment of the week segment coming up soon.
Yeah.
All right. So a cute little story for the end.
Yeah. So this episode is running long. It's gonna be a while, so we're just gonna quickly touch on this.
Yeah.
Astrobot. Okay. I haven't tried this yet. I'm gonna try it though. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Astrobot comes out as a Game of the Year nominee.
I hate that.
Okay, like they might win Game of the Year.
No.
This is what everybody's saying. Everybody loves Astrobot. It's like the PlayStation Mario is what people are saying. Okay, this is going up against Mario Odyssey and 64, like that kind of style. And everybody's loving it. It has Easter eggs in it. There's like classic PlayStation characters that you discover like throughout the levels and stuff. It honestly looks like a good time. And I think people are really liking this because everything recently has been like, there's all these live service games, open world, you know, you got to grind and spend like 100 hours to get
Full
anywhere.
of microtransactions.
Yeah. Whereas this is just a game.
Yeah. It's
People miss games, I think.
And it's important to have. Why is it important to have family-friendly game? Because if there's horror games and violent games and whatnot, you can't get the next generation until they turn an appropriate age.
Yeah.
This gets their hands on the controller when they're like 6 or 7, you know. So I do like the director of this game says that 12 to 15 hours of condensed fun beats the hell out of 40 hours of parts that you feel like skipping.
And isn't that the truth, right? There's with any game now, there's a certain part when you're playing which is like, okay, I gotta get through this, or I'm sick of doing this, or whatever. Like, you don't have to make a game that goes on for years, because then it takes you so long to make it too.
Yeah.
If you can make something that's short, to the point, fun, good, then you can make it quickly, get on to making the next one. Okay, people are gonna buy that up. You're not over
but
budget
even to play it, Mitchell.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a PlayStation, so I won't be playing this. But like, I'd play it at your house, or I'd play it at my friend's house. But like, it's so much easier when the progress isn't. Gung, gung, gung.
Yeah.
It's like do, 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 do. It hits those dopamine receptors, and you just want to keep going. You're like, yeah, let's crush this, and then you kind of sad that it's over, but you enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Yeah,
Astroboiiii.
this looks like a lot of fun. Like, have you seen much of like the play of this game?
No, I saw a couple of snippets, but I will watch some more gameplay of it.
I feel like your kids would be all over this.
Yeah.
Like you ride around on like a PlayStation controller.
I'm not buying a PS5 though.
You can buy mine and I'll buy the Pro.
Okay. All right, Mitchell. This is my turn to ask something of you. And that is, what is a NAT type? And why is mine moderate? I want it to be great. Or
Okay, so-
very little? I don't know.
So really quick, NAT is network address translation. So basically you have your router, okay? That communicates with the rest of the internet from your house. Then you have all your devices in the house, your phone, your computer, your PlayStation, whatever. They all have their own IP address.
Okay.
They go into your router. It uses NAT, network address translation, to know what's coming from where. It sends everything out through one address. When the info comes back, it uses network address translation again to send it to your phone, to your PlayStation, and whatever.
Kind of like
So-
caller ID, hide my ID kind of thing.
It's like a. In one way, it's a filter. In another way, it's a compression. It just everything's going into this source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out to the world. When it comes back, it gets divided back into the right places.
Okay, cool.
That's basically network address translation
That-
in the
that-
simplest way that I could say it. Okay,
That's for security.
helps with security. NAT is not the most secure thing in the world. There's because depending on how you lay it out, there's holes in it, and we'll talk about that with the types. So there are some differences too between like PlayStation NAT types and Xbox NAT types as well. So with PlayStation, generally you want a moderate. You're going to have the best success with connecting to lobbies, connecting to online games or whatever, because your router connects your system to the internet and so on, and that allows you to communicate with other people, okay, with moderate. You're not going to have a lot of things drop, a lot of games drop, whatever, with moderate on PlayStation, and it's a decent balance of security and capability or functionality. Strict, not going to happen. Okay, that's type 3. Moderate is 2, strict is 3. Strict, you might be able to connect to something, okay? You're basically only going to be able to connect to open, which is type 1. If anybody in that game is moderate or the host is moderate, you're out. Strict is not going to work. Or if somebody else in that thing is strict, you're out. Strict is not the way to success, okay? It's the most secure, but it's not functional.
So I
and I
be
think
happy
we've
that
talked
I'm
about that in the
moderate.
past, the balance of function and security, right?
Yeah.
It's always a battle. Open, you're going to be able to play whatever game you want, but it's the least secure. So people can get into your IP address, they can connect to they can get your info to your other devices. They can do a lot of things. Once they're into your IP address, they can see what's going on your computer. They can go here, they can go there, they can shut things down, whatever. So open on PlayStation is a big security threat. It's the best for gaming, really, because you're not going to get kicked out of any games. You can even connect to people with strict NATs, but it's not going to be that secure. On Xbox, you basically need open, okay? But open is used with port forwarding, so it's a little bit more limited. It's open, but it's more limited than PlayStation, essentially, because you're choosing specific ports to open up that connect with the internet. When you have an open connection on PlayStation through NAT Type 1, basically just your PlayStation is going to connect to the internet. It's going to mess up your other devices, not really going to be able to connect. On Xbox, though, it can be open. That's going to run the best, but it's just through certain ports, so it's not messing up the rest of your house. Moderate on Xbox is okay, but you're going to run into a lot of, like, you're going to get kicked a lot of times. You're going to get dropped connections, and then strict, forget it. It's not going to happen on Xbox at all. So that's basically NAT types. Can get into more details, and if there's any other specifics that anybody would like to mention in addition to that, let us know in the comments below. But
let us know your NAT type.
Let us know your NAT type and how's it working for you.
And while you're at it, your IP address.
Yeah, just open your NAT and we'll get in there, no problem.
Well, I've always been a 2, so
I like to think of myself as a solid 7, but it depends on the day.
7. All right, well, this concludes our episode. But before we hit the stop record button, we have one last task, and that is our Creator Corner. Now, you, sir, got mad at me this week because I picked a creator that you wanted in the future. So what I'm going to do, because I just found this guy, apparently you know him well, I'm going to let you do both this week.
You let me do both?
Yeah.
But man, that's gonna mess me up for the following week, though. So why don't we do? I have another one that I can do, which is kind of like a sub from a previous one. Okay. Well, I'll do those two. Okay. So first, we're gonna do the one I have listed here. The other one you're gonna find easy. You're gonna know it.
All right.
So first, I want to mention Paul's Hardware. Paul's great. Doesn't mess around. Likes beer.
Does he
Great
get into the
individual.
weeds with graphs? Is he a Nexus guy? Do you like Steve?
A little bit, but I would say maybe they trade blows in certain ways. But I feel I could see you watching more of Paul's videos than Steve's videos because Paul is a little less graphy. I think he'll do some benchmark stuff, but on average, Paul's Hardware video is more. I would say it's like between Steve and Linus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
So
and don't get me wrong.
I like Paul. He's got a bit of like a dry sense of humor and sarcasm and stuff. I always enjoy Paul's videos. So if you haven't checked out Paul's Hardware, check him out. If you're watching us, you probably watched Paul already.
Yeah.
But big shout out to Paul. Great creator.
But listen, don't get me wrong about Steve, man. I do respect his tenacity to go after people in the industry that have done something wrong. He's got a whole hour-and-a-half video about EK water blocks.
Yeah, I want to watch that. It's a really good documentary apparently that they put together. So I really want to check that out.
So I just gotta get some time to check that out. But
yeah.
All right, who's creator number 2?
Okay, so the other one, I'm probably even kind of mentioned this before, but not officially. Which is, so talked about Austin Evans before.
You've done this one before.
But I didn't specifically mention this as the channel.
All right.
So Austin Evans channel, of course, and this is Austin with Matt usually. Sometimes there's other people in there, but this is great channel. I would say like a similar vibe, but better than what we do because they've been at it for so long. And
well, they're professionals. They're getting
that's
paid.
it. Right? We're just a couple of guys.
We don't even have a studio.
We're up in the
one day.
We're up in the Great North, Anyway,
we're from Canada, eh?
But this is great show, and they keep it short too. Like it's not a podcast. I don't think they release it like the audio either, but it's basically a short podcast. Great style, keep up to date with the topics, good dynamic. If you've never watched This Is, and maybe you've watched Austin but not This Is, go check out Austin.
Yeah.
Or go check out This Is, Matt and Austin
fun
together.
Tier lists as well.
And then the others that they'll switch in and out. Sometimes they have Kinsey. Sometimes they have.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. Really, really good show. I never miss an episode of This Is.
All right. Well, thank you for sticking along. If you stuck along the whole way, that's amazing. Keep that up. We like that behavior.
Oh yeah.
And share this video with someone. We're really eager to grow. So if you have any critiques at all, we like to get our feelings hurt. We're weird that way. So let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout us out to your friends. Let them know what's going on. We're on that road to 500 right now. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, hit it now. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. Hit the dislike. Ring all the bells, whatever you got to do. But until next time, my name is Mitch.
My name is Josh.
And this has been the Broken Port Podcast. Go break something. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.